Yeah, good morning. We just started recording. Yeah, I'm actually saying good morning. Basically. Yep. Damn. Okay, this is a new video where I'm wearing white. First time. Okay, this is not the first time I'm wearing white. Should be. So I want to talk about nothing. Decoding real estate investor demand, bro. In real estate, to become a pro in real estate, you have to actually be able to like reverse engineer demand. Understand why a street even became that kind of bustling street. What made every tenant start appearing on the street? Who was the first anchor? That kind of thing. Like, I would like see this is so I'm using Notebook LLM, which is like kind of Google's personal, uh, your kind of Google assistant. This is amazing. You can make it. I just gave it like a clip of my conversations on ChatGPT yesterday night when I was coming back from the street I'm living, and I started asking myself like, why did this street actually become like this? No, okay. First of all, it started with where I went to buy some illegal shit like that. I saw three hotels almost on the same street. I'm like, three big hotels, facing the same street. Why are three hotels here? You know, that was my question in the beginning. Why three hotels? Like, just I just saw three hotels first. There were so many hotels around it, but like three, like it's like three were actually like real neighbors. So ChatGPT, like when I started asking my phone now, ChatGPT was like, nah, that is the wrong question. You ask yourself, what demand is present here that makes three hotels pop up here? Like what three? If it was one hotel, you say, okay, it's actually risky. But two hotels, that means there's obvious demand. Now three, that means there's guys are making money, but like either maybe a part of this guy, maybe this hotel now is for the oil company workers because Port Harcourt, I stay in Port Harcourt, and Port Harcourt is mainly oil and gas city. So maybe this one is for the oil company guys that come out 2 weeks. This other hotel is for like the mom, the family friends visiting or like bars and like it was really amazing because I got to learn. I even ended and how would I say I postponed everything I planned to do yesterday, which was more like making my the 100 days of code. I want to still go on to that next, but like I need to make a video on demand, reverse engineering demand, bro. Like this is so amazing, bro. You know. So basically, reading the let's start with like reading the urban code, decoding real estate demand analysis. There's so much um, in real estate apart from just market analysis. But like market analysis and understanding like street level demand is the fundamentals to actually understand before you start doing all this finance, understanding the finance part, understanding basically the street level domination. Like first of all, okay, this is like at the first, you have to identify the anchor. You map people flow. Who is there? Students, workers, traders, see people. What class are they? Broke, middle, or wealthy? Because this one also determines the corporate tenants. Starbucks no enter the kind of broke people's environment because they will not make money. How many people will use Starbucks? Someone like Dutch Bros is also a coffee corporate tenant, but I don't know. Just they may be targeting a different level of class of people. So you must stop seeing patterns of movement and start you must start seeing patterns of movement, not random people. Everything is like money flow, like movement flow, human beings flow, money flow, access flow. Like this third one, map the money flow. Where is money being spent on what? Like what exactly? In our area here, there's a big hospital called Save a Life Hospital. So I felt like I was asking myself, what's the first thing? What's the first load? Not the biggest. What's the first thing that was built on these streets? That kind of thing that kind of generated this kind of interest. And also you need to also understand what they call like in every street now they have like the beginning, they have a decline, they have the growth phase. There's so much like in this our conversations yesterday. You start with the street level. How many media? Like this is 4 minutes. Okay, so basically, pattern recognition. You need to have pattern recognition. That one only comes through repetition. I know that. What do I need to learn? No, 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 no. So number one, other than after learning market intelligence, it's like demand analysis. You know, it's financial intelligence, then strategic intelligence, and execution. Now you call, now you could call, now you like talk to them, understand. So let's go and see what this guy made. So, are you seeing this? Are you guys seeing this? It's crazy and amazing. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. The operator's playbook. Wow. So notebook LLM is actually really nice. So this is an operator's playbook, seeing invincible flows. You see like this is like I think this is like the AM PM streets. AM is like the morning side, see people going. This is serious, bro. This is a very, very hustle society. Like this is how Save a Life is in the place. Like I said, these are small buildings. There are streets inside of it. They Save a Life here. There's inside is like a big sea. In this part where you see like this kind of, so it's kind of like this, but they don't really have so many pedestrians, but you have people walking because they're always peasants. So like okay, this is beautiful, high frequency, financial hotspots, safety yellow, structural mapping, blue, blueprints blue, structural mapping. So this is like high frequency transaction zone, um, commercial node, um, demand vector. What's the international financial hotspot, safety yellow, structural mapping. So like Sublinkar buildings, this is a field report, urban dynamics analysis. Real estate is not equals to buildings. Real estate is the flow of people, money, access, regulation. This is good, bro. This is like the real estate masterclass, commercial real estate masterclass 101. Bitch, I don't give a fuck about all those things. I'm just trying to learn, you know what I'm saying? Any day I wake up and I learn something new compared to like what I learned yesterday, I'm like, wow, this is a very good way to start my day. This is some like this is a good mindset. I don't have like a mentor telling me, yo, read this part or read this part and do this and get on the phone now and call RV park owners now, call distress multifamily operators now. So mine is just evolution, like sharing what I've learned here, even when most of the information is incomplete, but we still share it, you know what I'm saying? Because we cannot wait. So this is my first time using Notebook LLM, and I am impressed, brother. I'm impressed. It's making this whole really amazing. So real estate is the flows of people, money, access, and regulation. That is very understandable. Amateurs see static architecture, just like me. I go around and I'm seeing buildings everywhere. I'm like, why is this building here? Is this a church? Why the church? I just ask real normal, aggressive, stupid, foolish questions. But the investors, as an investor, you have to track your eye to see dynamic human behavior. See human behavior. Real estate is basically human behavior in physical form. I learned that one from ChatGPT. Yeah. If you cannot see the invincible forces pulling customers into a location, you will always be late to the opportunity. Always. That's true. If you cannot see like why customers are like why are people why is there demand for this particular street? You cannot see that kind of thing. That bro. You will always so the diagnostic matrix, tourist brain versus investor brain. Wow, wow, wow. This is good. This is nice, bro. Tourist brain. Why are there three hotels around? That's why I asked yesterday. Why are there three hotels in the same street or like in the same and opposite there? There's now hotels. But like, why? The investor brain is actually like, what demand pattern created this ecosystem? Is it money plus like let's say money plus access? What demand pattern? I don't still understand that one. Like, I'm still this. I see static tourist brain now like mine. My own name is tourist. I'm staying here for how many years? But then tourist brain is like static architecture and aesthetics. You just see the architecture, you see the fine buildings. But the investor brain is more like is trying to understand dynamic human behavior and structure, like human movements. This building looks nice. That's why I asked it. Like I said, okay, these three hotels. This one looks. This one is really developed. Cars parked overnight indicates class and occupancy. Financial data. Okay. Guessing based on surface level. Triangulating revenue based on tracked traffic. Ah, triangulating revenue based on tracked traffic, like data points. Yeah, because like in retail parts, let's say corporate retail parts now, there's the part in real estate where you have to actually understand VPD, the egress ingress, like how many people pass through here in the morning, in the morning flow, in the morning, how many drivers like vehicles per day, VPD, how many vehicles per day pass this road. Sometimes it's 30,000. A good one starts from 20,000 plus, 20, 30, 40, 60,000. Will be like, what the fuck? And then there's no retail anchor somewhere. Once you just spot one, let me say you see a road that potentially in the next few months, that road may now start like moving 60,000 vehicles per day through that anchor. That's going to be a good one. Then the next thing you don't hear one retail giant, one anchor now, maybe like Walmart, is coming to that road now. It's going to buy one good place in one part like that in one intersection. Oh boy, let's start buying it around. So like this shit requires moving from passive observation to active economic extraction. This one will actually mean triangulated revenue, like based on track traffic. Then you have to actually find out how many vehicles pass here every day. Cars parked overnight. You have to try. You have to even enter the hotels and then find out how many rooms are filled. Like what they spend for per night. Because I think hotels only just know how much they pay per night and then how many rooms and then how many rooms like how many what the percentage of vacancy sometimes most of the time like 50%. So the four invincible forces of real estate. Wow. People flow. Where are humans moving daily? Workers, students, travelers. Okay. Yep. Access flow. How easily can people get in and out? Entry, exit routes. See, like boom, boom. Yep. And money flow. Where is spending happening consistently? Is it where do they spend 500 naira per day versus where they spend 50,000 naira per day? That is a very different, you know, different like it's very different, but like it's amazing. But like regulation flow. Why? What is permitted or restricted? Government control zoning, and this one is really aggressive in America. But I think in Nigeria too also the same thing. Like there's like zones for commercial zones. Yeah, like there are zones for commercial, residential, industrial, and is it penitentiary or restricted? I don't know, but like yeah. So this is the four invincible. Stop making noise, please. You're making stop my video. The four invincible forces of real estate. So this is good. People flow, access flow. How can people get in and out? Money flow. Where is spending happening consistent? Regulation flow. The operator intelligence staff, field report, urban operational core. Mm. Demand analysis is not a skill, it is the underlying operating system. This one me I thought it was like part of the part of the operator staff. But then demand analysis is actually like the is actually true, because if you don't know the right market, you have not actually understood like the whole dynamics of the market and what brings people and like what their anchor and the like you don't understand what you don't understand they are negotiating for garbage and that's true. So basically it starts like market intelligence, which is the main foundation, you know, demand demand analysis, who is here, why are they here, is it growing or dying, financial intelligence, underwriting, well, I'm not figuring out underwriting yet, cash flow, debt, how much revenue generated, what are the costs, and this part now, this is where like I am still and this is I'm actually excited to be here. Sha. Strategic intelligence, urban economics, understanding what people are passing every day, like what how much are they spending in this area? Is it here, like where is like the round of money flow, let's see. That money flow is right without yeah. Money flow, where is spending happening consistent? Is it found in naira versus found like $50,000, like $50,000 naira? So where is capital moving? Understanding strategic intelligence, understanding geopolitics. Why is the port built in this place? Or must the port be built here? You see like a power plant, and they choose that land for power plant. You're like, I'm like, why did they even? What makes a land to be even conducive for like power infrastructure projects? What makes a land not something but like the time you get to know all these things, execution is the sourcing, negotiation, spotting the opportunity, and acting. That is the cold calls. That is where the deals come out from. Execution. Um, so everything starts from market intelligence. Where who's here, why are they here? So every location has a primary demand generator. Okay, put that on two times. So there is always a primary demand generator. Hospitals create 24/7 movement, daily traffic, and emotional urgency. People do not care about distance when sick. Okay, like in mine, Save a Life Hospital. So what are something like Walmart? That should be like a primary retail, anchor. Like Walmart is big and always like people like you daily need something and convenience. If you cannot find the anchor, you are not thinking hard enough. Because this is a song that read the rest of the street orbits. Wow. So tracing cause and effect in the ecosystem. Few reports. So like sticky services, opportunistic, stressing cause and effect in the ecosystem. So with the primary retail node in the sun, I think that's what you should hear. What you're seeing is the not random urban sprawl, the highly predictable economic ecosystem forming around a demand engine. Yes, demand engine is basically like that hospital, like the hospital. I think something like that. Yeah. And there's the sticky services, that is the schools, families want proximity to healthcare, staff need schools, you know. Opportunity extraction, hotel, bars, visiting doctors and out of town patients, daily needs, shops, pharmacies, food, capturing drop off and visitor traffic. Okay. This is actually like it's created by Nosy LLM. So I'm just like, yeah, let's make some video and let's talk about this shit because this shit is really important, bro. It makes you learn something. So the strategic clustering paradox. Let me see how many minutes I've spent on video already. You know what I'm saying? We made like 16 minutes. Wow, 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 wow. Yep. Strategic clustering, like question, why do three hotels exist on the same and the exact same street? Yeah, I had this question yesterday. So basically, you compare the price, market validation. One hotel is risky. Three proves the money exists. Customer behavior. Buyers flock to areas with options to compare. Clusters increase total demand, not reduce it. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Overspill effect. Hotels really hit 100% vacancy simultaneously. They feed off each other's overflow. Okay? So basically, this one you compare the price, you compare the cleanliness, compare the vibe. That's when you like, customer arrival. Yeah. And also to know the price, you have to actually do all these things, go inside and then like act like a customer and then, answer those questions that you understand like how much is this hotel making, and all that. So triangulating revenue from the streets. Why does all shit look confidential like this? You see, observe, you count rooms from windows. Okay, how many rooms are in this hotel? Investigate, you walk in, ask the price. How much is it per night? I don't think we know any hotel they do 12 k. They don't have all kind of ban it going. Night parking indicates occupancy like 50%. Yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. So like 15 rooms times 12k, that's like 50% occupancy. That monthly revenue is basically like, damn, bruh. It look like 5.4 million naira alone from just like the rooms. I'm not talking about like the other extra bars, yeah, clubs and the services and everything, the laundry. Hotels have so many ways of monetizing. So zooming out to city level engines, exactly. But this is what me I'm like, I'm interested about. Normally the street is very important normally, but to see the big picture, you zoom out to the city. You see the way bigger picture, zoom out to macro. You see the oceans and see the countries and you know what I'm saying? So a city grows because of economic engines, not vibes. If you cannot explain a city's economic engine, do not invest in job engines. Oil and gas, tech, government. Oil and gas is Port Harcourt. Tech is Lagos, Nairobi. Government is Abuja. Those are like the main job engines for um, those particular states. Demographics, let's say infrastructure now, roads, ports, bridges, infrastructure is the future demand signal. Yeah, roads, yeah, if they build a road in a new place and they build a port, okay, that's the real future demand because these things are already infrastructure nodes, like, like a bridge. How would they build a bridge if they're not? I don't know, bridge, they build bridges in some useless, even roads, but ports is like, yeah, the real, like, demand. The demographics, um, population migration patterns following opportunity. So capital inflows following institutional money before it becomes obvious. Yeah. So basically, like the real job engines, oil and gas, that's like Port Harcourt, tech is Lagos, government, Abuja. Yeah, that's what they're. That's when you know like this. This is what is into like power. The like this like the job engine basically something like that for like, each state. So you actually see like tomorrow now. the state stops performing, you'll be like, what actually was the main job engine for these states? Like, you know, how they like use this kind of consistency, like. So now let's look at infrastructure follows system constraints. Amateurs ask, what makes this land perfect for a power plant? I was asking this same question yesterday. Professionals know it's not about perfect land, it's about the location that minimizes system costs and political friction. Oh my God, bro! When it comes to infrastructure deals, political understanding political wahala is really, really like understand like the favorable regulatory control. Yep. So like let's say make a land now, land for power plants, transmission, that is proximity to the existing grid lines, fuel source, immediate access to gas pipeline. That's true. Isolation, large non-residential footprint. It must not be close to human beings. Like and all the power plants I've seen, like they are not always close to human beings. They're always like isolated in some kind of crazy. You'd be like, damn, why did they do something like this here? But it kind of makes sense. Like I don't see understand why it's not close to human beings, but there has to be a reason, you know, in case you have like a kind of outage and then fry burn I don't know. But like the politics part, the favorable regulatory control is real. So the seven skills of the execution layer. Buying is easy, bruv. Operating is war. Master the foundation first, or you raise money for weak place. This is everything, bruv. Because I'm going to actually really get to the point where finding the asset, distressed asset is going to be a problem. But then we don't want to raise, and raising money is going to be like, yeah, we have actually gone to the game, we have started closing deals. We don't want to raise money for any weak play. The weak plays are not for me or my investors. So the number one is deal sourcing. No, I don't think number one should be deal sourcing. But like, let's see what this guy is talking about. Deal sourcing, like school calling and networking. Number two is deal analysis. This is before you do market. This is like the financial part. You know, the first part is the market analysis, the demand, trying to understand like how invest engineer demand. So like number two is the deal analysis on underwriting, net operating income, cap rates, cash flow. You know, I'm still net operating income. The underwriting net operating income is like okay, that one was cap rate because if you want to calculate cap rate, it's like net operating income divided by the property price times 100. So if you want to now, let's say you want to calculate cap rate, let's say I want to calculate net operating income. Net operating income probably like let's say cap rate times the property price, probably like maybe divided by 100 or 500, something like that. But like you know, it's something like in that level. I don't know about cap rate. I just mentioned cap rate, but cash flow. Calculating cash flow, like or cash on cash returns, all those ones, I don't think have been a deal where I got to that level where I started calculating cash flow. When you get to negotiation, restructuring price and terms, capital raising, securing debt and equity. Because also one thing now, you see how this is like a real machine, amazing. Developers don't use their money to develop anything. That's one thing I saw yesterday. Developers don't use their money at all, bro. They raise capital. You know, they get debt, build all manner of crazy infrastructure. So this is one of them to really get. I want to understand this game because I cannot wait to start playing this game real life. You know, telling you guys, oh, I just developed a beauty for a corporate tenant. I just invested $2 billion, 2 billion naira in building Shoprite. You know, yeah, like now it's like another retail node, retail anchor. So asset management, cost cutting costs, improving income. You know, regulatory intelligence, zoning and hidden restrictions, timing, entering between the pioneer and the growth phase. There's, there's a pioneer phase when the lands are really cheap. You know, people just like people have not really found out that this land is going to really, you know, like maybe they have just built a road that's passed through, and then like lands are cheap and all that stuff. Then they enter the growth phase where you know money is now flowing into the lands, and the lands are getting a little more pricey, and people have like they're starting getting demand, and they have this kind of like is it a stable phase before they have like the real they drop where they decline, something like that. So these are the seven skills of the execution layer. The execution part is where the real business happens, where you turn this thing into a deal. So these are you turn into a deal. Start from cold calling and networking, understanding if are they even open to an offer. Next thing is you now they say they're open to an offer. You underwrite the property. If you're not underwriting it, you're gambling. You know, if you don't understand how much this property is going to make for you, you're gambling. Then you negotiate and structure a price and terms. Then you raise capital for that property. Asset management, regulatory intelligence. Then, so documenting field tests inside the content trap. 3 reasons 60 screw. That's one thing I like posted. Then, operators edge. I analyze 5 streets in Port Harcourt. Here is the economic breakdown. That is wonderful, bro. That is a wonderful analysis. So do not document theory. Theory is replaceable and forgettable. Document your field tested insight. So today now, my own plan today is to go out on this road. There's um, there's a couple of hotels that have already started popping around. There's a retail node, and then there's the hospital is like down. So I think I want to like go through the road and just see it for myself, then come back, use Google Earth and see how this particular street where I stay has been transforming over time, and whether that was actually the first anchor. And that's my own plan for today. Like go out and like look at, because I have to study these things like over time to actually have this kind of eye. Naturally, when I look at buildings, I look at buildings as a normal average person. Like, why is this one here? Why are 3 hotels here? Like, I didn't even invest in engineering all those things. So, I want to get these things inside my second nature. You know what I'm saying? So the 30-day action protocol. Step one, field work. You know what I'm saying? Remember, it is execution. Like this today, we want to build some tools. I have to build some tools, so I have to really finish some courses. So we'll call it into really next week is really like to secure my capital, bro. I need to secure my capital, bro. Field work is daily. Pick one street. I already picked the street today. Identify the anchor. I know one. It's like a hospital. Like that's why I know now. Later on, we find out there was something that I made everyone feel like, but I even made Save a Life confident of putting their own, you know. But then I now saw this school. There was a school that was opposite another school. Like it's crazy. It's a school, a bigger school. It was really, what do you call it? Is it Charlie's or Collins? One school like that. The school now just repainted their building. Why are they now repainting? Like, has a new competitor arrived? Like, what is it like? Like, is there now increased demand for them to like repaint it? They are like repackage themselves. You know that kind of thing. Like, I'm just new to this shit, so I haven't like understood everything. So field work, do field work daily, identify the anchor, map the money and the people flow. Just money and people flow, no access flow and regulation flow yet. You have to actually understand 4 different flows. Then step 2 is Dex work daily. You use Google Earth historical data. Like that's exactly what I just said. I'm getting these things in my system. You're not lacking information, you're lacking structured observation and repetition. Do this 30 times and your brain rewires. Yeah. I did this thing for like corporate tenants, and then I started like by the time I started viewing, like I started looking at corporate streets that have this kind of anchor retail synergy. I see Walmart here, and just like subconsciously, I just like if I don't see any like crazy before I start zooming to the map, I just know I'm going to start seeing the whole smaller corporate tenants run around. Once you just see one major retail node, just know like the one that drive the traffic, the ones that like you've calculated how many vehicles pass these streets every day, like 30,000 vehicles per day, like VPD. Whether it's like an AM road, Starbucks love AM customers that are driving to work early or trying to or like Dutch Bros like the evening coffee guys. But like everyone has like their whole like how they plan to grab the customer, like the strategy, where they position on the AM side or the PM side of the road. Bro, like it's so amazing for like real estate, but like we're seeing the beginning part. Stop saying I'm learning real estate. Start thinking I analyze cities for a living. I just wrote that one down my book. Go outside tomorrow, pick one street. I'm picking my street here today. Not tomorrow, bro. Today. As I finish this, I have like the course to finish. I have videos to make because I have to make day 8, day 9, day 10 today. I analyze cities for a living. And that's what I'm doing right now. You see, this is like this is like the background, you know what I'm saying? We haven't gone deep. We're just talking about like some kind of business you need to before you start chasing deals. Like you need to know shit, man. This thing is finishing. Wow. So this was enough for you guys actually enjoyed Notebook LLM because Notebook LLM is nice, bro. This is cool. How many minutes was that? 28 minutes. Wow. So let's see the video he made about this seeing money, not buildings.
When you walk through a city, most of us, we just see buildings, we see streets. But what if you could see the invisible stuff, the flows of money, of people, of demand that are actually shaping everything around you? Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to learn how to.
So also I want to say, like, I need to add this part, like how many real estate channels on YouTube talk about like deeper things like this and make you try to see things as a real estate guy, like as an operator, as an investor. You just go and say, hey, I want to buy land in this place. You don't even understand who like is going to be demand in this place next 5-10 years. Like, why are you trying to buy land? What's your purpose of buying land here? Are you even sure this place is not a commercial, industrial, a residential zone area? Like, that kind of thing. Like, so many, bro. Like, how many real estate channels drop this kind of bomb? Who teach you about PPA? Who teach you about IA, interconnection agreement, bro? This is the biggest and the best real estate channel on fucking YouTube, bro. very soon I need to teach you guys about urban economics. I need to teach you guys about like so many crazy shit. Like, just the more I learn about these things, I come out here and just show you. You know what I'm saying? So we have like so many things to show you. You have to understand like how to underwrite properties very well. So you're not just gambling. You know what I'm saying? Like so. Let's go.
Stop looking at the surface and start reading the economic code of your city. So you've probably seen this before, right? You're walking down a street and you see 3 hotels, all right next to each other. And you think, how in the world do they all stay in business? It seems like a logical question, but here's the thing. It's the wrong question. If you want to think like a real operator, you got to realize you're starting from the wrong place entirely.
Yeah.
You have to completely flip your thinking. And this is the single most important lesson. Real estate does not create demand. It follows it, like a shadow. Those 3 hotels didn't just pop up by accident. They are there for a reason. They exist because some powerful force is pulling a constant river of people with money to that exact spot. This right here, this is the fundamental shift in your brain that has to happen. It's the difference between a tourist brain and an investor brain. See, the tourist asks, oh, what's here? And just kind of looks around. But the investor asks, okay, why is this here? They reverse engineer the economic logic. It's the difference between just looking at your city and actually being able to read it. Okay, so every single building, from the tiny corner store to the massive skyscraper, it only exists because 4 invisible forces, 4 flows, are converging on that one spot. Once you learn to see these, I promise you, you will never look at a street the same way again. Let's break them down. First and most important is people flow. Who is physically moving through this space every single day? And why are they here? Are they students, office workers, tourists? And here's the critical part. Are they rich or are they broke? The constant movement of human beings is the absolute lifeblood of any commercial real estate. Second, you've got to follow the money. Where is it actually being spent? Is this an...
I think I genuinely believe I have one of the best channels on the fucking channel. So eventually I'm going to just make it, it's going to be the best because I'm going to find out what my competitors, I'm going to fucking beat them. You know what I'm saying? Close modules and these guys. Because these guys talk about generic, you know, we haven't even started entering interest rate and financial side.
Area where the average person spends, $5 a day on their commute? Or is it a place where they're dropping $500 on dinner and drinks? It's a completely different economic game and you have to know which one is being played. Third is access flow. Think of it like arteries and veins. How do people and also goods get into and out of this area? Is it a highway where everyone's just flying past? Or is it a destination? How easy is it to park? I'm telling you, in so many places, something as simple as easy parking can be the literal difference between a business thriving or dying. And finally, there's the regulation flow. Now, this one is how the real insiders win. It's not just about what's zoned for commercial or residential. It's about knowing where the city is planning to put the next bus station or where they're going to invest in widening a road. Those infrastructure plans, they are massive flashing green lights that signal where future demand is going to be. Okay, look, theory is great, but theory doesn't make you money. Execution does. So let's turn all of this into a practical system, a repeatable loop that you can use on any street anytime you're out in the field. This 6-step loop, this is your new identity. It's your new mental model for how you look at the world. You're not just some person walking down the street anymore. No, you're an analyst, and you're breaking it down piece by piece. This is how you go from just seeing patterns to actually pulling out the economic logic behind them. All right, step 1, and listen to me, this one is absolutely non-negotiable. You must find the anchor. The anchor is the main engine. It's the one big reason that a critical mass of people are forced to show up to this specific spot, day in and day out. Just think about a big hospital. It's a 24/7 human magnet, right? You've got patients, doctors, nurses, visitors, a constant flow. That powerful gravitational pull is what creates the demand for an entire ecosystem of other businesses, pharmacies, restaurants, flower shops, and hotels. If you can't find the anchor, you can't understand the street. The rest of your analysis is basically useless. Okay, let's get our hands dirty. I'm going to teach you a skill that feels a bit like a superpower. You don't need access to some private spreadsheet to figure out if a business is making money. You can get surprisingly close just by using your own 2 eyes. Let's go back to those 3 hotels. You're not going to guess their revenue. You're going to triangulate it using 3 key variables you can find yourself. First, you look at the building and count the windows to get a rough estimate of the number of rooms. Second, you walk right in and ask the front desk, hey, how much for a room tonight? And third, this is the secret, you come back late at night and you look at the parking lot. That tells you the occupancy. The truth is always revealed at night. Now, the math here is dead simple. Let's say you figure there are 15 cars, so 15 occupied rooms, and they told you it's about $100 a night. Boom, that's $1,500 in revenue for the day. Now, is that number perfect? No, of course not. But it is 10 times better than knowing nothing. You've gone from guessing to seeing the money flow. So once you get really good at this street level analysis, once it becomes second nature, you can start to zoom out. You can take that same logic that governs one city block and apply it to understand the huge patterns that make an entire district grow, stagnate, or die. You see, pretty much every area goes through this life cycle. It starts in the pioneer phase, it's cheap, it's risky, not much there. Then comes the growth phase. You see
And then like the particular location I'm staying right now, they are more between the pioneer phase and the growth phase, or basically a growth and a peak. I don't know. Because like people have started buying lands here and then the lands have started getting money has started flowing in, new construction, people build houses once in a while, demand is increasing. But like the price of these lands are getting expensive and competing. But the market is not saturated, so you can still find lands because like, people still think trying to buy lands here. But everything in the three stages of urban development starts with pioneer, cheap lands, mostly like villages, like not like villages, but like empty places, like cheap lands, risky and few upside, risky and few services, high potential upside in case they come and build like a stadium close or an airport close or like power plants close. I don't know why I love power plants, bro. Or some powerful big hospital or like a new refinery. Yeah, the land now gets times 100 value.
the cranes go up, new money is flowing in. And finally, it hits the peak phase. Now it's expensive, it's crowded, it's a saturated market. The amateur shows up at the peak. The pro knows the real opportunity was way back at the beginning. And this is it. This is the whole game. Timing isn't about luck, it's about pattern recognition. It's having the guts to get in when an area is still in that rough, cheap pioneer phase, because your analysis, your understanding of the underlying demand tells you that growth is basically inevitable. Seeing the patterns, understanding demand, that's the foundation. But to actually become an operator, to be the person who acts on that knowledge, well, that requires a whole other stack of skills you have to build right on top. And really, it comes down to 7. There are 7 essential skills that build the bridge from just analyzing something to actually profiting from it. These are what separate the spectators from the players. You have to know how to find deals nobody else is seeing. You have to analyze the numbers cold, without emotion. You gotta be a shark in a negotiation. You need to be able to raise the money, manage the asset, understand the regulations, and get the timing right. That whole stack, that's how real wealth gets built. But here's the single most important thing I can tell you today. Demand analysis, it isn't just one of those 7 skills. It's not on the list. Why? Because it's the foundation for all of them. It is the operating system that runs underneath everything else. If you get your demand analysis wrong, you'll find bad deals, you'll analyze garbage data, and you'll raise money for a project that is guaranteed to fail. So it all comes down to a choice. You can be a person who just talks about this stuff, or you can be a person who can walk into any city, anywhere in the world, and read it like it's code. So what's the next step? It's not to watch another video. Your mission is simple. Go outside tomorrow, pick one street, and run the system. That's how you earn it. That's how you get to the next level.
Good. Yeah, that was good from notebook. So, yep, that was really good, bro. That was so good, bro. I can't even believe that shit. Like damn, nigga. I think I was like, I'm really underestimating these niggas. So like, how many minutes have we spent so far talking about market demand and like this is really important for me to make so many videos on this kind of topic. Individually, each topic I should make a full video. So that's what these YouTubers do. But me, I'm trying to like. This is the first possibility to like because I watch my videos. I don't give a fuck. You see all the views like 1 view, 3 views, 7 views. Bro, that was me watching my shit. Before people start watching your videos. So let's look at the decoding real estate investment. What's this one about? We've actually looked at it. It goes up to an hour. Okay, this is the investor lens decoding real estate demand to teach viewers how to transition from seeing physical buildings to reading the income standard. From buildings to flows, yeah. People flow, the movement, money flow, the spending, the money flow, regulation flow is the zoning, the real economy. So basically, you have to identify. They miss one flow, which is people, money, access flow. Yeah, access flow. They miss that. Yeah, so they can bring some more time. They track people flow, money flow, access flow. key findings. I think for a business like hotels cluster together because demand is proven. Three hotels, that means real demand is proven. Then they're already feeding off each other. You know what I'm saying? Clusters increase total traffic through market validation and overspill when they own business. Bro, this thing shit is going to be so exciting because I'm going to rule the world with this shit, bro. You know, I'm also interested in like the oceans. I was interested in the ocean. I used to always tell my dash friend then I'm going to own this kind of big powerful ships. I don't know how I'm just going to own this big powerful ships because like the water is where the real business happens. Like I mean land is everything, but like I mean transportation started through the seas. Like, you know, Columbus used the seas to go and find the US. So basically like this is really amazing stuff to actually just teach on my channel and show on my channel and like share with you guys. If there's anyone watching this shit there, you are lucky. Tell me this is not good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Compared to like someone that just come and ask, why do okay this is like property flashcards. Why do multiple hotels often cluster together on the same street? Are you not supposed to what see as to feed off a proven river of demand that is already pulling customers to that? Yeah, got it. In the context of hotel clustering, what is market validation? Are you not supposed to give me like a couple of choice of answers? Like why is it just no, go back. See answer. The principle that the presence of multiple competitors prove a profitable demand exists in that area. That's really correct. Yeah, got it. How does customer behavior benefit from a cluster of competing hotels? It allows travelers to compare prices, cleanliness, vibes in one spot, which increases overall trust in the location. Okay. Got it. What is the overspill effect in the hospitality industry? I think the overspill effect is like when the customers find out the phenomenon where customers move to neighboring hotels when their primary choice reaches full occupancy. Yeah, that's the overspill effect. Yeah. Instead of asking why businesses are on the streets, what is the investor frame questions? What is powering demand? What is demand? Not even see answer. What specific demand exists on this street that can support multiple similar businesses? Exactly. That's it. So, what are the four primary forces that drive its all real estate existence? People flow, money flow. Yeah. Define an anchor in real estate demand analysis. An anchor is the main nigga that pulls in the primary demand generator. An anchor is the primary demand generator, such as a hospital or university that consistently draws people to the specific area. Yeah, I got that one. Why is the hospital considered a powerful anchor for surrounding real estate? Generates constant 24/7 traffic and generates emotional urgency for services like pharmacies and first of all, I didn't really know hospitals were really this. Like when I saw like someone actually DM me, one Indian guy, I think he sources medical office buildings. And I've actually seen medical like I've tried to look for medical office buildings before. I've actually gone through I found them by like damn bro, their own is way bro. They can have like 7 different people trying to own a particular building. You know, like they just divide the buildings too. It's crazy, but like that's how thing. In real estate, what does the term people flow trap? People flow traps people, that is movement. We are not go back. The volume, type, and frequency of humans moving through a specific geographic location daily. Nice. Type the volume, type, and frequency. So if the people are broke, nah, there's some kind of shit kind of there. What's the best formula for estimating a hotel's daily revenue? Basically, count the number of rooms, go and find out how much their rooms per night. They check the total rooms times occupancy rate times average nightly price. Yeah, nice. Okay. How is estimated revenue from a school calculated? I don't know that one. Total number of students times average fees per time. Very simple. You know. What three variables are used to estimate retail plaza revenue? Foot traffic, conversion rate, and average spend per customer. Okay. Identify the 4 stages of an area's real estate cycle: the pioneer phase, the growth phase, the peak phase, and the decline phase. So, yep. During which life cycle stage do professionals, investors typically seek to purchase assets? Between the pioneer phase and the growth phase. Yep. What defines the pioneer phase of a location? A stage characterized by low property prices, high risks, and a lack of established infrastructure. What are the primary risks of buying real estate during the peak phase? Or when you start to lose money? When you go back, man, see what you talk. High competition, high prices leave very little room for further capital appreciation. Yeah, that's true. I like the way you guys put it, capital appreciation, not And name the 7 core skills required to be a successful real estate operator: deal sourcing, deal analysis, negotiation, capital raising, asset management, regulatory intelligence, and timing. Very important in real estate. What does regulatory intelligence involve for a property investor? Understanding zoning laws, government infrastructure plans, and any hidden legal restrictions on land use. Define asset management in the context of real estate operations. The process of improving property income, reducing operating costs, and managing tenant strategies post purchase. Nice. Like, bro, like, we are learning so much, bro. What are the Jesus 60 of this? What are the 4 engines that typically drive city level economic growth? Job creation, infrastructure investment, population growth, and capital inflows. How does infrastructure investment serve as a signal for future real estate demand? How does new roads, ports, or grids indicate where the government or institutional capital expect future economic activity? What is the primary factor for locating power plants in regions like Nigeria? Proximity to fuel sources such as gas pipelines to minimize logistics and system costs, and also the way, in Nigeria, this is the main thing. Yeah. So, define refinancing risks in property investment. Basically, the danger that a loan's interest rate will rise significantly when the debt needs to be renewed as refinancing risk. Something. Yep. How do rising interest rates impact the property's cash flow? Oh boy, the interest rate is one. Is there like the hidden? Now, them they determine so the increased debt service cost, which can lead to negative cash flow if the property's income. Yeah, if the property income does not also rise. So basically, the increase rate, like, oh boy. So this owners now will, like, they will skyrocket rent. Everybody will like, what the fuck, bro? Bro, you cannot blame them. What are the 4 layers of real estate intelligence as described in the text? Market intelligence, financial intelligence, strategic intelligence, and execution, bro. Execution is what turns, like, properties and, to, like, conversations, and that conversations to deals. You know what I'm saying? So execution is everything, bro. Even execution is where, for me, I started from execution. I didn't even start from market intelligence or financial intelligence. I just started from execution. And yeah, like, I think I've always been my own thing from back. You know, eventually, this is why you need a mentor, and like, you need to have like a good mentor like me. But I don't think I'm going to spend my time after making us tons of money to come mentoring you persons. That is impossible, nigga. I have so many things I want to do in my life. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not watching my channel and you want to go and watch it later on, oh, bro, like, I've done the whole hard phase of doing this, pushing myself through this whole journey alone. I don't give a fuck about anybody, bro. You know what I'm saying? I am just going to make sure when the money comes, I have some kind of crazy plans that you will never believe, so I don't want to talk about it all. So, what's the focus of strategic intelligence in real estate? Basically, analyzing long-term trends and capital movements over a 5 to 10 year horizon. Like, that's like strategic intelligence. Yeah, basically knowing, like, in the next 5, 10 years, how would this place, like, what would this anchor, this major anchor, would they want to move out of park? Kind of thing. Like, you need to take all these things like consideration, because most of these tenants, like, they sign 20, 30, so no, 20, mostly 10, 15, 20, 25 years lease. So a bank can choose, like, a big major financial institution, like, oh no, fuck off, we are not staying in this place again. Like, maybe they have an issue with the tenant, or like, they don't want to, maybe they don't even see they see the location as a, how will I say, a decline. Like, remember we said there are 4 phases. There's the pioneer phase, there's the growth phase, there's the peak phase, and then there's the decline in all cities and streets. This guy's into sport video. Nobody can spoil it. What is the field of urban economics study? Urban economics studies the economic forces that causes cities to grow, shift, or decay over time. That's very, like, I need to study all these things. Why is access often more important than aesthetics for a retail shopping plaza? Bro, like, access is everything. It's really ease of entry. In Nigeria, if you don't get better parking spaces, some businesses have already end to fail. They must fail. Ease of entry, exit for vehicles directly detects the volume of foot traffic and customer convenience. Bro, I'm not going to enter a place where I can even, when I start driving, bro. Oh, bro, you guys will see something. What indicators suggest a real estate area is in a decline phase? Oh, this is a good one. Falling foot traffic, high vacancy, empty. I see this one, like, there's a place in Port Harcourt, they call the place I've forgotten the name. The that thing is really heavy. High vacancy rates in shops and a lack of new construction and maintenance. Yep. This is a particular place. It's one of these places that's close to rivers, and one of my lawyers, like, a lawyer used to live with there, used to stay. It's like what is that place called? Like maybe that one. I'm not even in Nigeria. Why is timing considered a critical skill for real estate? Jesus Christ. Entering too early leads to high carry cost, while entering too late leads to results in diminished upside. I think what you guys call it like capital. There's no capital accumulation. No chance for capital. If you enter too late, forget you saying capital. You're just trying to like just be among the people like that's not even investors. Yeah, that's someone that just want to buy land and live in a place where he wants to live. He doesn't really think about how can an investor estimate a business revenue without access to its internal books. How can an investor estimate a business revenue without access to its internal books? By triangulating data through physical observation of customers, prices, and occupancy over time. And this is really interesting questions. What's the function of an anchor tenant in a commercial development? Oh boy, to serve as the primary draw that brings a consistent volume of customers to the entire plaza. That's the retail anchor. Why is it vital for investors to track capital inflows from large developers? First of all, large developers don't use their money to build anything. First of all, debt. Debt is like how do we secure debt, equity, capital? Those things in real estate. There's one very soon. That's when my channel is going to be really talking about because I'm going to pass this stage of decoding the main nitty gritty and understanding real estate demand analysis. What creates demand? What creates like this dialogue we are having. We are exploring like the transition from viewing property as static buildings to understanding them as manifestation of economic flow and human demand. Very soon, when to translate all that stuff, we need to start making real money. You know what I'm saying? So we cannot be talking about surface level shit. We need to talk about how to like scale that money because capital is how you scale everything. Raising capital. So why is it vital for investors to track capital inflows from large developers? It's vital to identify areas where professional capital is moving before the growth becomes obvious to the general public. All this you have to see in your head before it actually becomes real life shit. What determines if a road is a destination or a pass through for your retail purposes? Bro, whether vehicles naturally slow down and stop or simply pass through at high speeds, that's all. Yeah. If you stop at if you see one, okay, like I save a life now, everybody now drives to come and enter and park in the one. They even have a very big. These guys have a big like. These guys actually are real commercial real developers. Like for them to actually just have like a kind of massive parking space like the one they have there, it's like these niggas are very intentional about being the main like anchor in this area. So how do high interest rates create distress opportunities for sophisticated investors? Don't fire you guy, no give that guy offering. How you gonna borrow offering to go put for church? Like how you go like that, put offering. Nobody will kill you. They force over leverage owners to sell assets at a discount when they can no longer service their debt. Over leverage. What does zoning specifically regulate in land development? Basically, like just the legally permitted use of a property, such as residential, commercial. That one is the government that decides the zoning, is the municipal records and the municipal, like people in kind of states can just say, hey, let's change this place from a commercial to an agricultural land. I've seen a property I was tracking one time and the developer was like, it's a big mess because the city council now changed the after buying the land and then they entitled the land and they zoned the land for like commercial use. They changed it later on to agricultural. The guy is frustrated. So he's fighting now with that's the political distress stuff. So he's fighting now to so in demand analysis, what does the presence of empty shops usually signal? Empty shops means like that's like a falling like a what does it mean? Local demand is either too weak to support retail or that current rent are decoupled from reality. Like they ask for too much rent from when everybody's it's empty shops everywhere now they ask for rent, like crazy amount of rent. That is when I know any customers now, that kind of thing. So what economic signal is sent when a business like a school undergoes major renovations? I saw a school. There's a school opposite there. There's a school opposite another school, bigger one that's facing the road. There's another one that's facing like the street, and that school now just repainted its building. I'm like, what economic signal happened here? Are they like as a new school now packed in here, or maybe okay? I think they're building a new hotel. So what is it? So basically, it indicates that the market is competitive and there is active, ongoing demand for students. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for that service. How does access flow impact property value in Nigeria? Access flow is really important. Proximity to major transport links and paved roads significantly increases the commercial potential and land value. You're about to reach 1 hour. You cannot pass 1 hour. So in Nigerian retail, why is parking often, yeah, like parking is everything. It determines the plaza's ability to attract the high spending demographic that travels via or through private vehicles. If they spend better money, they try come spend money. They use your car or like boat, or what I'm saying. So parking is necessary unless you're like pursuing. So what is underwriting in the context of professional real estate? The rigorous process of evaluating a deal's financial viability using data rather than intuition. Intuition is gambling. You know what I'm saying? It's not you deny it. If you say whatever you're doing is intuition, then you're just gambling. Or like having like evaluating a deal's financial viability and understand whether this deal is even make sense. Is this deal interesting? Can you when can you collect your capital back? When will you make your money? When will you start seeing your profit? And how much rent would you have to raise to actually balance the capital expenditures? Like I said, yeah, I'll kill this dog. The close real estate follows flows, not logic. Man, say, oh, real estate follows demand. Yeah, real estate follows demand. Infrastructure investment is a signal of future demand. Yep, I got that one. How does population growth through migration sustain real estate demand in the city? Population growth, creating a continuous and growing need for housing, employment space, and basic. Why does this dog shout rubbish? Like, guy, you're spoiling my vibe. Ugh. Why is human behavior? Wait, go back. Why is why is human behavior considered the root of real estate value? Basically, real estate is like human behavior in physical form. If you zoom out to like some kind of successful cities, you see like human behaviors like real estate is. Why is real estate considered? Because property value is simply a reflection of where humans choose to cluster, spend, and move. You know what I'm saying? That's a very good one. That's a good one. What is the ultimate goal of reverse engineering demand? To identify the invisible economic forces that created the visible patterns, building patterns on the streets. Good. Why do oil and gas hubs like Port Harcourt maintain high demand for hotels? Oh my God, that's a good question. Because of the constant movement of high-value contractors, engineers, and expatriates into the city. Damn! I'm in a good city, so I need to figure out to take advantage of this city. But I'm not going to church, bro. Going to church is the worst thing I do every time. It makes me feel like it's a waste of time. Like I waste my time every time. But this one now, I want to be motivated, but I use agitate and these rich niggas online talk about that shit. So yeah, when you have to do like going to some kind of places where like people you don't really have this kind of situation where you can just like, I don't know, bro, I don't really enjoy going to church. That's the thing. But like where would I go now? I can see these guys, the job creation engines. Lagos is primarily driven by tech and commerce, whereas Abuja is driven by government activity. That's a good one. Okay, no while ago. What's the core purpose of project finance in institutional real estate? To structure the funding for massive infrastructure commercial projects that using complex debt and equity splits. Oh my God, project finance is something that these are the kind of topics I cannot wait to get into, because me now I'm interested in everything. Like I can't wait to finish land because I have to enter water, enter the seaside. Understand like the whole world. Like I need to understand in my head, how does this whole thing work together? You know what I'm saying? How was this? Why was this city? What created the demand for this city to be like this? Why was this city even? How did it even start like this? How did it end up like this? Where is the city going to? Where is it coming from? Where is it going to? Where is it at right now? Is it in a decline? Is it in a peak? Is it in a growth phase? All these things you have to understand. Project finance is like bro, the difference between job creation engine in Lagos, that one is easy. Like job in Lagos is more of like commerce and tech. Abuja is government, so yeah. But like the core purpose of project finance in institutional real estate is like, I love that one. Yeah, to structure the funding for massive infrastructure commercial projects using complex debt. I can't wait to reach this level because I know I'm not entirely about like what are sticky services in an urban ecosystem. Like I think services like schools, clinics that require long-term commitments and keep residents anchored to an area. In a demand cluster, what is the role of opportunistic businesses like bars? Let me see what does that mean. To capture the peripheral and overflow spending generated by primary anchors like hospital. Capture the peripheral and overflow spending. Wow, so bars are like they call them opportunistic businesses. Yep, that's a good one. I don't have any opportunistic business. So let's go. Let's keep going. How does the national infrastructure logic dictate land use? Oh boy, it determines where large-scale assets like ports or power plants are placed based on system constraints and national needs. Okay, okay. What does it mean for an investor to read the code of a city? It is to like to see the underlying flows of capital and people that most observers ignore in favor of just looking at buildings. What serves as the foundation layer of a successful real estate operating system? Um, Demand analysis. Okay. Let's go back again. Let's see that one. What serves as the foundation layer of a successful real estate operating demand analysis? Everything is demand, bro. Demand, demand. What's the primary objective of capital raising for a property operator? To scale, to secure external funds, there is debt or equity to execute deals that exceed their own personal capital. That's scaling, yeah, to scale. How does system costs influence where government places infrastructure? Um, Bro, how many minutes is this video? 1 hour, exactly 1 hour 59 seconds. We're about to soon. How does system costs influence where a government places infrastructure? System cost. The government seeks locations that minimize both the expense of construction and potential political friction. Okay. So even the government is afraid of political friction. So why would I not be afraid of political? Like in demand analysis, what do economic class signals like car types reveal? I think that shows the kind of people that can spend in an area. The specific spending power, yeah, and social demographic that a location currently attracts. That's good, that's good. The concept of market intelligence is kind of like a deep understanding of why capital prioritizes one specific location over all alternatives. That's the concept of the market intelligence. Yep, yep. So, why do investors count the number of rooms in a hotel during field work? Basically, to understand, it's good to establish the capacity variable needed to estimate potential gross revenue. You understand how many rooms, you understand the price they pay for each room. You can, and then you see like the parking spaces, the number of cars that are parking. You can now estimate, okay, based on 50% occupancy, because this is how much these guys are making. If they have 30 rooms, 15 times, let's say 30K per night. 30K per night times 15 is about like I think about like 3 million. I don't know, bro. Like, let me not go that side first because like what is institutional real estate as mentioned in the text? Institutional real estate is like bigger deals, bro. Large scale property deals type typically funded by corporations, banks, or professional syndicators rather than individual buyers. Yep. And yeah, so we just finished that and let's go. You know what I'm saying? So we just do like flashcards. So like let's do a property squeeze or do we do architecture of real estate? So this is it. It's core philosophy, real estate investment mastery. There's a core philosophy, the four forces of real estate. I think that's like the four types of flows, something like that. Yeah, money flows and everything. The core philosophy of real estate is basically like market demand, something like that. Track flows, not building. Demand drives location. Reverse engineer logic. And the four forces of real estate is like people flow, money flow, access flow, regulation flow. The demand analysis levels. The level one is street level. You have to have that street level demand analysis intelligence. Then go to like the city level. Street level is basically identify anchors, map ecosystems, observe foot traffic. You know what I'm saying? The intermediate level is pattern recognition, growth versus decay signals, life cycle phases. Advanced city level is more economic engines. Infrastructure investments. Where are the government like building ports, roads, and bridges, and all this like new like population migration. The macro strategic is global trade routes, geopolitical advantages, and you know what I'm saying? This is nice, this is good. That's for the demand bullshit. The seven skills of an operator, or this is like the execution level. Operators must know how to source for deals. They must know how to analyze deals without asking too many questions, like just watching and asking a few questions about. In fact, without even meeting the owner, you can know how much is their property making, how much is what. You must be able to negotiate. Find out, come to a good. You must be able to raise capital, manage assets, regulatory intelligence, and timing of the market. Financial intelligence is more of like revenue triangulation and debt and interest. What about revenue triangulation? Like observing the occupancy, the price verification, the units per room count, and debt and interest is more of like the refinancing risks, bro. Leverage structures, institutional modeling. We're getting there, we're getting to all those places, but like small. So execution framework basically like daily field work, historical mapping, documented insights. Yep. So this is everything you need to this is everything for real estate investment mastery. We are still in the beginning game. You know what I'm saying? Let me download this because this is like important. So this is game right here. Actually, I'm giving you guys like when you guys says the school of hard knocks says, hey, this is game. This is really game, brother. You know what I'm saying? And no other real estate channel does this. Nobody does this shit, bro. So the last one is have I done this? I think like we've done everything here. And we will take a quiz together. 1 hour quiz, bro. I am not going to take another one. Okay. According to the source material, why do hotels often closer together on the same street rather than seeking isolated locations to share the high cost of security? And no. Requirements said by look at no. Reduce the cost of market, no. But it validates the market demand and provides customers with comparison. Yep, that's right. Next. In the context of Nigeria, specifically Port Harcourt, which of the following is identified as a hidden driver of demand for hospitality services? Oil and gas movement involving contractors and international tourism for its critical, like for Port Harcourt, oil and gas. I swear. Movement of personnel in the energy sector is a massive driver of demand for lodging and services in the region. Nice, yeah. Which operational expense is highlighted as being particularly pushing for hotel owners in the Nigerian market? Which operational expense is highlighted as being particularly okay? That means diesel. Yeah, diesel is punishing Nigerians. What's the primary function of an anchor tenant like a supermarket or bank? Anchor tenants. So even a bank, okay, in a shopping plaza, to pay the highest rent, no. Primary function is like to drive consistent foot traffic that smaller shops can feed off, to provide security, provide. I think to drive consistent, yeah. Everything and drive in steady stream of customers. So like in a supermarket now, in a shopping plaza now, having a supermarket or a bank drives like consistent tenants, like steady stream of customers, creating like an ecosystem where that benefits other businesses in the plaza, so like that. So having like a bank and a supermarket in a plaza is really good. When analyzing the flows of location, which flow is specifically concerned with the ease of entry and exit for vehicles and pedestrians? That's access flow. Access flow is about how do where do vehicles park, like how are people going to move, all those like those movements. Access flow relates to the logistics of getting to the sites, including road quality, parking, and ease of entry. You know what I'm saying? So according to the text, why does the government choose a specific location for major infrastructure like a power plant? The government does that to minimize um, you know, minimize system cost and political friction. Yeah, government is always trying to minimize costs. So why am I not, as an individual, not trying to? In which stage of an area's development do killer investors typically aim to enter? The transition between the pioneer phase and the growth phase. Yep. As they spend to capture the maximum value as demand increases before price peaks. You know what I'm saying? What's recommended method for an investor to estimate the revenue of a hotel without having access to it? Basically, triangulating rooms, average occupancy, and price. Yeah. Everything is like triangulation. Sometimes you just have to like do your own um, due diligence. The text describes demand analysis as which part of that investor's framework. One of the demand analysis is like the foundation, bro. The operating system, yeah. Demand analysis is the foundation intelligence required for sourcing analysis, negotiation, and everything. Demand analysis is everything. Is like damn, bro. Everything. What does the study of urban economics primarily help an investor understand? Why urban economics? Why cities grow, shift, or decay over time? Uh, yeah. That's a great one. Among the 7 skills of a real operator, what's the focus of asset management? Finding, predicting improving income and cutting costs after a purchase. Yeah. Asset management. The world of operations, focusing on tenant strategy and operational efficiency. What signal does a school repainting its building typically send to a trained investor? Um, Demand exists and the business is competing for it. Yeah. Yes. So if a developer borrows money at a 2% interest rate and then okay, this part now is where I'm not very, very professional. You know, and interest rates later jumped to 12%. Jesus Christ, we took about what's the primary risk they face? Sudden increase in tenant occupancy? No. The business will physically deteriorate? No, no, no. The property will automatically seized by the government. Refinancing risks and potential distress. Yeah, this is true. Yeah, if a property income cannot support the much higher debt payments, the owner may be forced to sell or restructure. Yeah. What's the first level of mastery recommended for an aspiring investor before moving on to city level or national patterns? I think like street level demand. Yeah, which I'm trying to do. You must learn to read a single street and its flows before you can accurately predict larger systems. The text suggests that real estate flows follows demand, not logic. What does this mean for an investor? You must understand real estate follows demand. Yeah. You must understand the underlying human flows rather than just looking at the building. Yes, that's a good one. Investment decisions can should be made based on no. Buildings are always places where they make the most no. Government planning or it takes exactly no. You must understand the underlying human flows rather than just looking at that's what it means. Like real estate follows demand, so you have to understand. So I just had like I did a test, 15 over 15, bro. Like that was a good one. So like the video, let's come to the end of the fucking video, ladies and gentlemen. We just had like a little early morning breeze and 1 hour, 13 minutes of real estate, brother. Real estate. It's amazing. Let's go. That was a good one.